Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Wake Up for Wishes. We're going to give it just 30 seconds. I know people are joining us. Hope you're waking up. Hope you got a cup of coffee in your hands or tea or whatever your morning beverage of choice is. We're going to get started in just a moment. See a couple people connecting there. Okay, good. That connected. Awesome. Well, we're going to go ahead, just in the interest of time, we got so much to cover. We're going to go ahead and get started. Good morning. My name is Ann Cuba. I'm the president and CEO of Make-A-Wish Foundation of Central and Northern Florida. We're so excited to welcome you to our first virtual chapter-wide Wake Up for Wishes. So we're going to go through a lot of information this morning. We're excited to have you join us, and our goal is to really share a lot about who we are as an organization. Many of you might have been involved with us for many years. You might not have heard of us, or you might not know that we were local. And so our goal is to share a bunch of information about what we're currently doing in the local community, the impact that we're making, and share some opportunities to get involved, to get more engaged, and then hopefully be able to follow up with you to see what your interest is and see if there's any way to become more engaged with our organization, because there is a great need in our community, and we're looking forward to connecting with you in that way. So I want to start off with sharing a little bit about our chapter, and I'm going to share about our mission. But first, I want to share a video with you that's really relevant right now. The video is called Hope is Essential, and that's what Make-A-Wish is all about. So one of the things that we like to say is that, what would you do for a child who you loved? And the answer to that is really anything. We would do anything for the child that we loved. And that's where Make-A-Wish steps in during a time that's very difficult for a child and their family. And we provide hope. And hope is one of those essential elements in life. And I think we can all agree that it's definitely been something in 2020 that we've looked towards. And it's certainly something that Make-A-Wish is providing in the community. So with that, I'll go ahead and kick it over to the Hope is Essential video.
Your wish to have a gaming computer was granted?
What do you think?
Firemen are dropping a package from way up high.
So that's a visual of some of the wishes that we're granting during this time period, and we're going to go through more of that. But simply put, our mission is we create life-changing wishes for children with critical illnesses. And it's as simple as that, but there's so much that comes from that. And hope is the essential part of that piece there. Joy, the strength that we bring to a child when they're diagnosed. Oftentimes what happens is, everything's normal, and one day in a child and a family's life, everything changes. And so from having a normal childhood to all of a sudden being diagnosed with a critical illness, it goes from being normal to the child can't do outside activities, they can't potentially hang out with friends, it's hospital treatments, doctor's visits, and really an uncertainty of what the next day will bring. And that's exactly where Make-A-Wish steps in to give that hope and that strength and that joy by granting the child's wish. So how did we all begin? And it's very simple. We all started with one wish. Back in Phoenix, Arizona in 1980, we had a little boy who was diagnosed with leukemia, and his name is Chris, and he was 7 years old, and he always wanted to be a police officer. And so the community got together, again, this is before Make-A-Wish existed, and a group of volunteers got together, and they wanted to be able to give Chris this experience of a lifetime. And so he spent a day with the police officers there, with the volunteers in the community. He was sworn in as the first ever honorary patrolman in Arizona history, and he had a helicopter ride. You can see he got his own uniform, and the smile on his face just shone the whole day. And unfortunately, Chris was very sick, and 3 days after his wish was granted, he passed away. But his legacy remains on, and the volunteers that were on his wish, including his mom, they didn't want to stop there, and they thought there are more kids out there, and we want to be able to do this for more children who are in the same condition. And so that's how we began in 1980. And since 1980, Christopher's legacy has lived on, and we as an organization have become the largest wish granting organization in the world. We have affiliates all over the world, and nationally, we have 59 chapters. We have granted over 500,000 wishes. We just celebrated our 500,000th wish this past September for a girl who wanted to give back to the community, and she wanted to have a virtual camp for children who are battling a critical illness. That was our 500,000th wish as an organization. And so locally, on the Central Northern Florida chapter, which is where we are. This is our local community. You can see in the map there that's on the screen, we cover 45 counties, all the way from the Panhandle and the Central Florida community up to the Northeast and Jacksonville community. So wherever you're joining us from today, you're part of our Central Florida Make-A-Wish family, Central and Northern Florida Make-A-Wish family. And we started in 1994. So our first wish, fun fact, was Dolly Parton. It was a 12, 13-year-old girl who wanted to meet Dolly Parton. And since then, like I mentioned, we've granted over 6,000 wishes and counting. And as you can see there, I didn't mention this before, but the wishes that we grant are for children between the ages of 2.5 and 18 years old. Couple of statistics to give you some facts about the organization. The average cost of a wish is about $8,000. They range, we cover the cost of the entire expenses for the entire family and their siblings. And so sometimes it can be more than $8,000, sometimes it's less than $8,000. So that's on average. Obviously, we're not doing travel wishes right now, but when we are doing travel wishes, that could be a trip to go see snow, for instance, and we're covering the cost of transportation, airfare, souvenir money for the entire family so that they don't have to worry about one single thing because they're going through enough. And it's really important to us that we're providing this experience for the entire family, because it really is the entire family that's impacted and influenced when a child is diagnosed with a critical illness. Sometimes it can really tear families apart. Parent has to maybe quit their job. We have to figure out how are we going to take care of the siblings when all the focus is on the child who has been diagnosed. So a wish is an opportunity, no matter what the wish is, it's an opportunity for the whole family to come together and experience that joy and that hope together. On average, our chapter grants about 250 wishes annually, but you can see that there's a gap of what we're able to grant and the critical need that's out there. So our chapter, within the 45 counties that we serve, we currently have about 550 children who are waiting on a wish in various stages of the wish granting process. And so the need is great. You can see we're only about at a little under half our capacity. And so this is why we need the support. And this is why we're trying to get to every eligible child's wish, because that truly is our vision as an organization. One of the things that I really like to share with folks is that 89% of health professionals surveyed say that they believe that a wish experience can influence the child's physical health. And that's really important. And we hear time and time again from doctors, from nurses, from social workers, from medical professionals, that a wish is used as part of the treatment schedule. A wish is used as part of the medicine piece. And so the medicine is, of course, very important, but it's that hope and that positivity and that mental spirit that can really get a child through the next day. And, they have to go through a lot with some of these treatment schedules. And so to be able to have that wish to look forward to really helps a child's physical health. And so it's not just a fun day. It's not just a fun experience. It's really impacting our children's ability to look toward the future. So one of the questions that we get asked a lot is about our funding and where does our funding come from? We do not receive any government funding, so we really truly rely on the public's support and the community's support. So through individuals, through companies, through the local communities, and there's power in a community, right? So there's, whether it's a small business, a large company, mid-level, individuals, you can kind of see the breakdown there of how we receive our funds. A lot of times through local family foundation grants, community and corporate gifts, individual donations, as I mentioned, and in-kind donations, which are really important to help cover the cost of a wish. Where does the money go? We're really proud that we serve one cause, one mission, and that's to grant wishes. And so that is what our program is. So the majority of our funding is going towards wish granting, and on average, it's about 75%. The other thing that we like to share is just a little bit about our brand. So most people have heard of Make-A-Wish. You might not have known, if you're joining us for the first time, you might not have known that we were right here in Central and Northern Florida, but Make-A-Wish has an extraordinary brand. We were actually in a poll that was done, or in a survey that was done, we were the number 2 most loved organization in the nation. And that was based on trust. It was based on an organization that I feel connected to. So we were the most loved. And then we also are a good thing to connect with in terms of a company, and a good thing to be partnered with. You can see some of the statistics here that customers or the public feel better about a company, and they're more likely to purchase from a company. They're more likely to choose a company over another company. And they're more likely to recommend or refer a friend to a company when they know that the company is supporting Make-A-Wish. And so the connection there just really makes sense in terms of a company partnership to be able to benefit Make-A-Wish, because it also helps business. And it also helps employees feel more engaged as well. With that, I'm going to kick it off to Arlene, who is our Director of Program Services, and she's going to share a little bit more about the nitty-gritty of what wish granting is, and also talk a little bit more about what we're doing during the times of COVID-19 and how we've had to pivot and really be able to continue our mission, which I'm really proud that we've been able to do. So Arlene, I'll kick it over to you.
Thank you, Anne, and good morning, everyone. As Anne said, I am Arlene Vieira. I am the Director of Program Services. I'm very excited to share with you guys more about how we grant wishes and how we've pivoted due to the impact of COVID-19. So the first thing that we're going to talk about today is the journey of a wish. And so we receive a referral, and then what happens between that and the time that the wish is granted. So this is kind of the flow chart of how things work within our chapter. The first thing that happens is that we receive that referral, and it must come from an approved referral source, which means it must come from either the child themselves, a family member, or someone on the child's healthcare team. Next, we determine if it's eligible or not. And so we have three main criteria to determine if a child is going to be eligible for a wish. They must be between the ages of 2.5 and 18, as Anne mentioned earlier, at the time of referral. They must have never received a wish from either from us, another chapter of Make-A-Wish, or any other wish granting organization. And they have to be diagnosed with a critical illness. And that's something that we will verify with the child's medical team. If they meet that criteria, they are going to be eligible for a wish. I do want to say, as a note about the ages, if a child turns 18 while they're still in the system and still eligible for a wish with us, that doesn't mean that they automatically don't get one anymore. We actually have more of a buffer for that, and we work really hard to grant a child's wish before they turn 21. We just have to receive that referral before they turn 18. Step 3, this is where the fun happens. So our kids meet with volunteers. These are normally in-person visits, but in light of COVID-19, we've now gone fully virtual. So lots of Zoom meetings, FaceTime, Microsoft Teams, all of that. We've really pivoted with our volunteer program. And so now all of our volunteers are meeting with kids virtually in a setting just like this. We send icebreaker gifts ahead of time. We have these really cool things called wish boxes, which we're sending to kids, which is a new initiative for us that we started this summer in light of COVID. And it's something that the kids can decorate and draw on and kind of put their own personal style on, and then the volunteers can ask them more about that. And it really helps kind of kick off conversations about the wish. But the volunteer's goal at this point is to really discover what is the child's wish and why. We want to get to the why of every wish so that we can make sure that we're granting something that is really unique and heartfelt for them. Step number 4 is that the wish has to get approved. So it must be something that is medically appropriate. So we run every wish by the child's medical team, where they're very involved in this part of the process, because we want to make sure that everything is going to be completely in line and not going to put any child at risk. And then it also must fall within our Make-A-Wish guidelines. We have national guidelines and some local guidelines as well for how we grant wishes. And so everything just must be kind of checking those boxes. But once that is approved, and once it goes through that concept approval, then we start coordinating details. We have a staff of wish managers and wish coordinators who work with our volunteers to create a really wonderful experience. You know, we like to say, even though wishes, you know, multiple kids might wish for the same kind of thing, we don't want to do any of them the same way. We want to really get to that heart of the wish and why the child has chosen what they've chosen, so that we can craft something that's going to be really unique for them. Step number 6, the wish is granted, and as we like to say, joy is created. So due to COVID-19, we have pivoted and we've, made some adjustments. We're staying nimble over here. The health and safety of our wish kids and their families is our top priority at all times. Due to COVID-19, our organization has had to pause all travel wishes beyond our local region and all wishes that don't allow for social distancing. Nationwide, there are about 5,000 wish kids whose wishes have been postponed or impacted by COVID. Locally within our chapter, about 90 children's wishes were postponed, with more than 100 others that have had to be reimagined. As Anne mentioned earlier, we typically grant about 250 wishes each fiscal year, and we're currently working with about 550 wish kids. So wishes are waiting. That being said, we're committed to providing an exceptional wish experience to every child, and our staff and volunteers are working closely with each wish child to ensure we're discovering the heart of their wish and working our Make-A-Wish magic to deliver it. So let's talk about some of the wishes that we are able to grant right now. So virtual celebrity visits. This is something that, we've always been able to do, but really pivoting a lot toward virtual now, especially with our celebrity wish granters. Thank goodness for technology. Celebrities have been either pre-recording messages or having like really in-depth conversations with wish kids during this time. And it's been very cool and heartwarming to see. A lot of times with these in-person celebrity visits, sometimes it, can be a little faster. You don't feel like, you're not able to get a recording of it. With these virtual visits, we are able to record the visit. The kids have a lot of one-on-one FaceTime, and it's been really wonderful. Like what we've been able to see, the families have reported that they've been really happy with it, and then they have that recording as a memento. So we're really thankful to our celebrity wish granters who have also pivoted during this crazy time to make these wishes happen. As so many kids and families are staying home, we're really finding that a lot of these kids are wishing for things like they're looking around their homes, they're trying to figure out what can I do to make my day-to-day life more exciting, more robust. And so we are seeing local staycations. There's definitely been a spike in that. But otherwise, a lot of things that are just, like I said, the day-to-day excitement level. So adaptive equipment, whether that be a wheelchair bicycle or an adaptable play set, a lot of camper wishes. At this time, that's been deemed, a lot of families are feeling like that's a safe way to travel. Outdoor structures, so playhouses, play sets, outdoor gazebos, any kind of thing a child's like, I love to be outside, I want to do that more. Play sets, as I said, a lot of above ground pools. At Make-A-Wish, we don't do in-ground pools, but we can do above ground pools. So we're having some more of those kind of wishes coming through. Lots and lots of electronics and computers, as I'm sure you can imagine. Lots of kids are very excited for that. Side note, if anyone knows how to get a PS5, please email me after this. And online shopping sprees. So as it says down below, we've granted 83 wishes since mid-March, which is about the time that COVID really started to hit us. So we're really proud of that number. So those are some of the more popular wish types at this time. I'm excited to say that while the way we grant wishes certainly does look different, we are granting wishes. So I'm excited to share a few of those with you right now. So the first child, this is Joey. He's 6 years old. He had a transplant. His wish was for a play set. So he's one of those ones who was like, man, I'm at home. What do I want? What do I want to do? And so Joey's wish was for a play set. He had never really had a lot of experience going to playgrounds due to his condition and the treatment that he was under. And so we worked with his family to determine like what would be the best thing for Joey, and he was really excited to have a swing and a slide, and so that is what we did for him. You can see we actually worked with a vendor on Etsy to make that little Joey's playset sign, and he was just so happy. His mom said when he saw the playset and toys, he was so happy, and he's already learned how to swing. This next one is Jaleel and Jabari. So both of these boys are 16. They both have the same blood disorder. They're twins, and so they're both wish kids. And so they both wanted an online shopping spree. So we thought, okay, how can we make this really special? Yes, we're going to provide all of their shopping spree items and everything from their wish list, but how can we put it over the top? So what we did is we worked with a local yard sign company. You can see it in that third picture below. That's something that we call a wish enhancement. Every wish gets an enhancement. We want to do something that's just a little more special, just a little more magical. People are going crazy for the yard signs these days, and you can see why. They're super cool. But yeah, in the photos, you'll see we had every single one of their online shopping spree items was wrapped individually. We made it this fun outdoor party, and they just got to celebrate with their siblings and with our volunteers. And you can see the smiles on their faces that it was a really great day. And here's Jonel. He wished for a beach vacation. He's such a cutie. It was hard to pick a photo for him because every single one, he just has this huge smile on his face. Jonel is 7. He has a genetic disorder, and he wanted to just kind of get away. He wanted to get out of the house. I want to go to the beach. So during his wish, he got to build sandcastles, play in the ocean, in the pool. Jonel also has a brother about his age, and mom just said that they were just so happy, just all smiles the whole time. And you can see mom's quote below, Make-A-Wish Foundation rocks, she said. So let's talk about supporting the wish journey. I do have to mention Jackson here as well. He had such a cool wish. So Jackson is 16. His wish was to go to this place called Tank America. He loves tanks. He's a World War II buff. He actually wants to start his own podcast on World War II. So we found this cool place in Melbourne, and they let you drive a tank. You can even crush cars, which you can see in this photo here. He has driven this tank over 3 cars. He just had a really awesome day. And this is a good example of like how we can work with our vendors to get them involved. They said that they had a wonderful time. They actually shut down their whole facility It was just Jackson and his family there that day. And they provided a really just personalized experience for him. They gave him a lot more time in a tank than you might normally receive. And they just said that they had a wonderful day as well. So we're often asked what can be done to directly support our program needs. And while of course funding will accomplish a lot, there are a few other ways to help us move forward with granting wishes. So one of those things is in kind. We're always looking for in kind on our wishes. These are ways that you can directly offset the cost of a wish. Winter clothing is a big one. Right now, we have a lot of kids who wish to see snow. So as I mentioned, we are doing some local regional travel wishes. So we're starting to look at how we can make that happen. Being in Florida, a lot of our families don't have snow gear. So that is a cost for us because, as Anne mentioned, we do want to cover every part of the wish for the family so that they don't have to stress or worry about anything. Electronics, this is a very popular wish type all the time, but like I said, especially now during COVID. So if any electronic donations, I'd be happy to talk with you more offline about specifically what types of electronics we're looking for, but typically video game systems, computers, monitors, all of that good stuff. And gift cards, any kind of gift cards. In normal times, we do restaurant wish parties sometimes, so those are always helpful to have. Amazon gift cards, any kind of retailer gift cards, we can use those. And that really does go to directly help us manage our wish costs and keep granting more. And wish experts. So a wish expert says, wish expert, what is it? A wish expert is someone who can share their knowledge and expertise to help us grant a wish. It's fun to work for Make-A-Wish because you never know what you're going to be working on. One day, Monday, you might be researching pygmy goats. Tuesday, it might be submarines. Wednesday, it's crushing cars with tanks. You just never know what these kids are going to wish for. And wish experts are community members who can help us and share their talent and skills and knowledge base to help us and guide us kind of through the process. A lot of times with these play sets or pools, they require permitting. Our staff is really great at researching, but we don't know everything. So, having a wish expert can really help us through the process. Some popular categories of this are plumbers, contractors, concrete pourers, interior designers who can help us with room redos, above ground pool installers, the list goes on and on. If you have a skill that you're willing to share with us, we would love to talk with you more about becoming a wish expert. So now I'm going to introduce you to Adam Losey. Adam is our incoming board chair, and he's going to talk with you about why he got involved with Make-A-Wish.
Well, good morning, everybody, and thanks very much for coming. I got involved with Make-A-Wish like many of you did, probably kind of knew about it generally from Make-A-Wish is everywhere. That's the nice thing about it. But had a friend that was very involved with the organization. And the nice thing about Make-A-Wish is the more you learn about it, the more you realize how important it is, and the more you realize that it's more than you think it is in terms of granting a wish for a child. When I first learned about Make-A-Wish, I knew that they granted wishes, but I had no idea, the kind of things that children and their families go through associated with this. I had no idea that it actually has a pretty significant impact that's been studied on medical outcomes and how a child and a sick person feels. And, the older I get and the more life experience I get, the more I realize that it means so much to somebody to have something to look forward to in a particularly dark time, particularly something that they can pick for themselves, that can empower them in a situation where you feel really powerless. It's very, very difficult when you're ill to not have control over a lot of things that are happening and to be doing the best you can. And Make-A-Wish does a really wonderful thing. It lets folks, lets whole families, not just the child asking for the wish, but it lets whole families share in the joy of the wish to help them see light in what can be a really difficult time to get through. And just the smiles on kids' faces, seeing the families, hearing the experiences from Wish Kids really is the best way to learn more about the organization and what it does. And on that note, you'll learn a lot more about Make-A-Wish from Addie in a moment. Let us introduce a Wish family. Addie's 18 years old, and she suffers from cystic fibrosis, and she wished to have an in-person shopping spree. And Addie and her mom, Regina, are here to share their story so you can hear directly from them what a wish is and what it means to a family.
hi, I'm Regina Dixon. I'm Addie's mom. Addie is very shy and timid, so I couldn't get her to come on, so she's not here, but I do have a picture of her. There's Addie. And she is 18, and yes, she has cystic fibrosis. And about when she was 15 or 16, my office manager saw a commercial that they were trying to recruit people in this area. We're in the Panhandle. We're up by Pensacola, Florida. And she saw that and she said, "You really should nominate Addie for this." And I said, "No, that's okay." And I didn't do it, but she did it. And so she submitted it. And then lo and behold, someone contacted us and said that she had been selected to be able for them to grant her a wish. And so a volunteer came to our house, asked about what would be 3 wishes if she could pick anything. And this was pre-COVID. So she wanted to do something like either a shopping spree at the Mall of Americas, meet Ariana Grande, or stay in Fiji in one of those huts over the water. So they were working on that, and then COVID hit. So that kind of delayed things, and kind of obviously we had to do something more local. And the coordinator was fabulous. She was really trying to think outside the box to fulfill the wish for Addie. And Addie, like you said, she's 18 now, and she said, maybe this wish should really go to a younger child, that it might really, they'd be super excited about it. She felt like, I'm getting older, so maybe we should pass the wish along. And the coordinator said, "Absolutely not. This is your wish. You take it. You deserve something." And I'm so glad she did, because it made a real big impact in her life. I'm so sorry. She's such a giving child, and she doesn't take things. She's very quiet. So this day just really did a lot for her, in the sense that it was her day, and people were looking at her, and it was about her. We ended up having to go on a shopping spree locally because of COVID. We had also just had a hurricane hit, and it took our bridge out. And so we couldn't get across. So the only way to go is it's about a 2-hour trek around, because we're kind of on an island in between Pensacola and Pensacola Beach. And so the day of the wish, they sent a limousine to pick us up, which was amazing. And so we got to have a nice trip in this limousine that was stocked and decorated, and it was amazing. And they took us to the mall that's in Pensacola, and she was given a very generous amount of money to spend, which was a little overwhelming for her. It took her about an hour and a half to really have it sink in that I really can spend money on anything I want. The volunteer that was with us was absolutely wonderful. She really knew how to get her motivated and get her going, because we only had 4 hours. We had a 4-hour time period where she could go in and get what she needed. And so the volunteer knew how to get her in there and say, "Get what you need, pick it, just pick it, go." But like I said, she's shy and kind of timid. So in the first hour and a half, she had bought maybe $100 worth of stuff, and she had thousands of dollars to spend. And she's like, "Really? I can just pick anything?" Well, by the end of it, she was piling. She got into it, and it was absolutely amazing. Everything that she got, it just absolutely loves. She's decked out from head to toe. She got a new TV. She got a mini fridge from her room, whole new wardrobe. This was back in August, so a whole new wardrobe for school. She got electronics, AirPods, a new iPad, new cases for her phone, and makeup. I mean, I could go on and on, but she got so much stuff, and it was overwhelming and kind of surreal, because you can't believe this is happening and that she can do all this. But what was also cool was that they also gave my younger daughter, I have a 10-year-old who was with us, some money to spend. So she got to spend some and get some things that she wanted. And then of course her sister, Addie, bought her several things. So she made out like a bandit as well. And so that made her day. And I think you'll see on the screen, those are her two best friends. And Addie's favorite restaurant is the Melting Pot. It's a fondue restaurant. And we go there usually once a year for her birthday. And so that's our favorite place, and that's where she wanted to go. And so when the shopping spree ended, the limousine picked us up and took us to dinner at the Melting Pot. And it was fabulous. And I have to say that everywhere we went, people were so receptive when they saw that the volunteer had on our Make-A-Wish shirt. And when they saw that, everybody went above and beyond. We went into Sephora and she had gotten about $300 worth of makeup, but they probably filled another bag full of makeup, probably hundreds of dollars or more. And so when we got to the Melting Pot, the waitress there had handmade a dessert for her. These hand-dipped strawberries, and they had decorated the table. You can't see it in the picture, but they had put their merchandise out, and they had even gone to the store and bought her candy, which I thought was very sweet and thoughtful. And so it was just a wonderful day. When she got done, I think she was so overwhelmed, and the next day she was, I think, still kind of shocked that this was able to happen. But I will say her mood since that time, we're talking about how it impacts physical health, her mood and her mental health state has drastically improved. And I guess I didn't think that far ahead, or how much that would impact her, again, because she's kind of a shy, she's not very expressive. But since that time, she has a much better mood and has, I think, a better outlook on life. It gives you hope. It gave her a lot of joy. And for the family to see that for her is worth, you can't put a price on that. So it was absolutely amazing. I really appreciate it. I know Addie really appreciated it. I wish she would come and say something, but she won't. But it did make a drastic difference in our life, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Regina, for sharing your story. We're so appreciative that you joined us today, and I just hope that Addie continues to shine and, beat the odds with the CF.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, we're going to kick it over to Krista, who's a part of our development team, to kind of introduce our opportunities for involvement.
Yes, so many of you have heard a few times now that, we consider this a Make-A-Wish family. So Regina and Addie are part of it. Adam is part of it. All of our partners are, and we hope that if you aren't already, you'll consider joining us. And so we're going to walk through a few different ways that you can be a part of this community. And I also want to share that there's no way that's too small. Every dollar, every minute of your time, every referral, every relationship means something to our mission. And so hopefully you see something that might speak to you today. And if you do, let's talk. And if you don't, let's talk. We really love being able to explore all of these as potential opportunities with all of our partners. So before I run through some of them, though, I want to introduce a few other people that will be speaking. So my name is Krista Zagalis. I'm the Director of Development in our central office. But later you'll also hear from Jackie Normandin, our Director of Development in our Jacksonville Regional Office, and Kylie Ortitai, who is in our central office, but she's our philanthropy officer for the entire chapter. So I'll share some of our corporate involvement opportunities first. We have a few different ones. We historically have been very large with many of our events, and we're fortunate to have some really wonderful corporate partners through those. So I will touch on some of our events in just a moment, but especially with COVID, we're really looking at some of those opportunities beyond just events, and some of them include things like Adopt a Wish. So, hearing stories like Addie's and maybe wanting to specifically sponsor that wish or be a part of raising funds towards granting a wish like Addie's is something that many of our partners have been gracious enough to do for us. Champions of Hope is a wonderful giving society that we have that involves monthly giving, various tiers, and different benefits associated with each of them, to really kind of have a deeper impact on our mission and stay engaged year round versus maybe a one-time support. Workplace giving is something that, you know, is great for organizations, both large and small. You know, we have mom and pop shop partners, and we have national chains that are supporting us, and workplace giving is a great way to do that, as well as matching gifts. So all things that we'd love to explore with you. We absolutely have a lot of information on each of these, so please welcome the conversations. We're happy to chat with each of you. Event sponsorship is another one that I'll go over next. So some of our special events, we have our annual gala, the Wishmakers Ball, taking place in Orlando, currently scheduled for May 15th, and our inaugural Wishmakers Ball in Jacksonville slated for August 28th. We have tables available for each of them on all the way up to event level sponsorship. So you'll see on the screen, we already have some amazing partners that have joined forces with us that come back year over year, and we're so grateful for that. But these are some really fun events. One thing that I've always loved about our events, whether it's our gala or our walks, is we always say, if you're at a Make-A-Wish event, we want you to know you're at a Make-A-Wish event. And so we really try to show a good time to everyone, but we also try to share the impact of the mission and, you know, feature stories that will really have you feel a part of the work that you all are doing by supporting us through these events. And then I believe we have our Walk for Wishes also taking place in Orlando and Jacksonville. So if you're joining us from either of those locations, please join us there. One great thing about walks is you can join us as a sponsor, but you can also join us as a walker or a corporate walk team. So signing up and being a part of our walk is a really fun way to fundraise and come out and support us as kind of a larger community event. It's a really fun walk. In Orlando, it's around Lake Eola. In Jacksonville, it's been at the zoo. And so just a really neat time for everyone to get together and be a part of the work that we do there. And then in Jacksonville, we're also launching our first ever Hops for Hope on April 3rd. So this is going to be a new event, but we have some really great breweries and distilleries coming out, as well as some restaurants, silent auction, and a lot of fun activities for everyone to participate for that event. And then I believe I'm going to toss it over to Jackie, who's going to share with you a little bit about Kids for Wish Kids.
Yes, thank you, Krista. So Kids for Wish Kids is another really fun program that we have. It's a nationwide initiative that Make-A-Wish has. And here in our local community, we work with a lot of different schools and kid centers, whether it's pre-K or even families who gather their friends to do a customizable fundraising program. So really that can look like anything that the kids want to do. You can see on the screen, there's a few different things. Some of the private schools like to do dress down days so that the kids don't have to wear their uniforms to school. Most recently, we just hosted one where the children donated to pie their principal in the face. So they get really creative, and it's a fun way to teach kids about philanthropy and also let them know what it's like to give back to children in their communities as well. And then we also have our WISH Society, which WISH stands for Women Inspiring Strength and Hope. So this initiative brings together women from the community who really just want to make a difference. And so whatever that looks like for them, each woman has a goal to raise the cost of a wish over the course of the campaign. And their fundraising is catered to however they are most comfortable doing it. They like to get really creative, invite their friends to join in on helping them. And then at the end of the campaign, Make-A-Wish hosts a luncheon for the women where they get to invite their friends again. And it's a fun way for them to gather and show what they've been working on, as well as for Make-A-Wish to honor those women and thank them for everything that they've done, and pass the torch to the next woman every year who wants to join that society and keep it going. And I believe, Adam, that you are going to talk a little bit more about the community impact.
Community fundraisers, which are particularly fun ones because really you can do one yourself with the group. And the idea is generally that you just host a neighborhood community event when it's safe and appropriate for you to do so, which hopefully will be very soon now, where the funds would benefit Make-A-Wish. We also have a variety of partnership options for corporate partners. So if it's something you're interested in discussing, please connect with us. Let us know. I mean, the pictures are a great example. It can be as simple as a barbecue, pig roast, potluck. Doesn't have to be meat oriented. It's okay if it's a vegetarian party or vegan party as well. Cornhole tournament, fishing tournament, clay shoot, really anything that's a shared activity that you can get together with friends, family, acquaintances, just to have a good time, interact with each other. Because a big part of Make-A-Wish, as Kylie and everyone mentioned earlier, we're trying to build more of a family and a community around this charitable mission, which we think everybody can feel good about. And I can promise you, the more that you do for Make-A-Wish and the more that you see what Make-A-Wish does, the more good you're going to feel for supporting it. So it's a great opportunity to take what you already do and make it even better and make yourself feel good about it and help other people get involved with the mission. Then on next, there's another thing that we have that's new called Circle of Hope. And it's a group of like-minded donors committed to forever changing the life of a child and their family. And part of how we do that is to make direct support over 3 years, which allows us to apply funds where they're needed most, to ensure that we have steady ongoing contributions from folks, and to also build a little bit more of that community. I mentioned it earlier with the community events, but the idea with the Circle of Hope is that we're able to identify folks that really want to support the organization on an ongoing basis and at a certain level. And associated with that, we're putting together right now, although again, it's a little bit in flux with the COVID era, but it will pass, and we'll have donor appreciation events, more community events, and additional information about what the Circle of Hope will involve. But it will revolve around a core group of folks that want to give recurring support, which enables us to grant wishes. Again, wishes are expensive. It takes money and it takes ongoing donations. And the more that we have folks that are part of this giving circle, the more wishes we're going to be able to grant and the more stable the organization will be.
Okay, I'm going to talk about Families for Wishes. So Families for Wishes is a national campaign that is launched on December 1st through the 31st. This is mostly about being a family and being able to fundraise. And when you say family, it can mean a whole bunch of different things. So it can be a traditional family, it can be you and your pet, which is my family. You can be anyone, and it's just about asking your friends and family to raise money for Make-A-Wish. So this campaign is all about giving back during the holidays, bringing joy back into a family's life. So it's a peer-to-peer fundraiser, and you just create a fundraising page online. And that's something that we can help you create at any time. And it's statistically proven that if I would pick up the phone and call like 2,500 people, that maybe one would answer. But if you ask your close friends and family, it's a statistic of 1 in 4 that are going to be willing to give to your online campaign. So we're encouraging anyone that's passionate about Make-A-Wish. This is a really great fundraiser and anyone can do it. So I just kind of wanted to also elaborate on my wish story. So I'm originally from central Pennsylvania, and I was born with cystic fibrosis like Addie, and my wish was to go to Disney World. So like Addie had, I was picked up in a limo, taken to the airport. There were so many different enhancements for my wish trip. So here are a couple photos. And I know that when I went to Disney, that they were very inclusive in having me participate in some of the live events. So on the right, the picture is from The Lion King that they pulled me up on stage to participate in. But I really am so passionate about Make-A-Wish and the way that it has changed my life since this, that so much that I wanted to work for Make-A-Wish and be able to just show everyone that how a little bit of hope, a little bit of joy can really go a long way. And so many kids that have cystic fibrosis are hospitalized multiple times a year for different antibiotics and such to keep their lung functions up. But luckily, since my wish trip in 2003, I have not been hospitalized for anything CF related since then. So I can absolutely say that the hope and joy that my family felt, and that we were just able to be our family and not worry about a single thing, was so life-changing and so appreciative. And I'm so thankful that I was able to share this story with you to show that a little bit of hope and a little bit of passion can really go a long way. So I'm going to toss it back over here to Anne, and she's going to finish out our presentation by talking about where there's a wish, there's a way.
Thanks so much, Kylie. It's so inspiring. I've heard Kylie's story obviously several times now, and it's so inspiring to hear. And Regina, thank you for sharing. I think we all got emotional hearing your story about Addie and her special day. And that, you know, those stories is what inspire us as staff. It's what inspires our board and our volunteers to keep on doing what we're doing. And we know that it's a critical need and it's important. And where there's a wish, there truly is a way. And I guess this year has been no better example of that we do everything we can to be able to grant wishes, and we're doing everything we can to be able to close that gap of that 250, what we're currently able to do, to that 550, because we will get to every eligible child in our 45 counties. And we need you to be able to do that. So Wishes truly needs stars like you. We're all a community, and there's such a power in community like we've been talking about. And so whether it's, you know, a small way, a big way, there's no way that's too little to make an impact to our mission. And so we really encourage you, if something's resonated with you today, if something's not, we're still going to ask for your feedback and see how there might be an opportunity for you to get involved. And as I started out by saying, you know, what would we do for a child that we loved? And really, we would do anything. And so we ask you to join our Make-A-Wish family and help in some capacity. And we look forward to working with you more. But I'll close it with our video that truly shows how everyone can make an impact and how the whole community can be stars for our Wish kids.
Cause you're a sky full of stars. I'm gonna give you my heart. Cause in the sky full of stars, I think I saw you.
For 40 years, you've helped Make-A-Wish make the stars align. Because when we come together, hope and joy will shine. Together, we've granted more than 500,000 wishes for children fighting critical illness. But we're not done. Help us make every wish come true.
So on that note, we're going to close things out and get you on with your day. Thank you so much for joining us and taking the time. We know that time is precious, and there's a lot going on right now. So we truly appreciate you joining us this morning to hear a little bit more about Make-A-Wish, what we're doing in our local community, and ways that you can get involved with us. We look forward to continuing the conversation. This is just the beginning, and we thank you on behalf of our staff, of our board of directors, of our volunteers, of our Wish kids. Like Kylie, I'm not a kid anymore, and Addie's not a kid anymore either, but we thank you on behalf of all of our kids and all of the wishes that are still to be granted for joining us, and we will get in touch with you after this presentation. So thanks again, and please continue to stay safe and healthy, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.